He was a man haunted by his past, having dreams of a shadow that relentlessly pursued him. Escaping from a Colorado prison, he eluded capture for 3 years, leaving behind a wife, an extensive criminal record, and even his real name. Amidst the backdrop of his fugitive life, he forged a new identity as a respected boxer and a mentor to underprivileged children. However, behind the facade of a reformed man, his first wife saw through the charade. She knew his true colors, that he was a smooth-talking manipulator with a hidden dark side. Roberto Medina was born Juan Eduardo Garcia on October 21, 1955, in Price, Utah. His early life is sketchy, with stories of him shuttling back and forth between Fresno, California, and Denver, Colorado. When he was 14, his parents divorced, and that is when Roberto's problems began. His father moved to New York while his mother remarried. His stepfather didn't want him around, telling his mother that either the kid goes or both of you go. Unwanted, Roberto reached out to his sister that was 10 years older than him. "Don't come around this house," his sister told him, "or I'll put you in San Quentin for the rest of your life." Medina then proudly told his mother that the streets were now his new home. He slept on park benches and abandoned cars. For food, he robbed shoppers of their groceries as they left the supermarket. He later telephoned his mother to wish her a happy Mother's Day, but she hung up on him. She started saying, "What do you want? What do you want?" Medina said. She started complaining that I was running up the phone bill. Medina fell in with a crowd of drug addicts, joining them as they stole to support their habit, while he stole to survive. "I think I was a good kid," Medina said, "but when you're thrown into a shark tank, you begin to act like a shark. I grew up fast." Now living in Denver, Colorado, Medina was arrested over 60 times during a 4-year period. His crimes ranged from theft, vandalism, burglary, and assault, and on one occasion, he shot a man, but was later acquitted. In 1975, he was convicted of forgery and burglary, given a 7 to 9 year sentence at the Canyon City Prison in Colorado. It was there he claimed that he first started boxing. "When I was in the joint," Medina said, "I didn't want to be known as no sissy. There was a guy there named West Side Willie, and he encouraged me to start boxing. They had a boxing program, and I did really well." Medina later sawed through the bars of his cell window and escaped, only to be captured a month later. In 1982, with only 6 months remaining on his sentence, he escaped from a work release program in Rifle, Colorado. "It was an honor camp," Medina said. "They'd pick us up and take us downtown to work. I worked driving a truck, watering down the streets. I had given them 7 years and I wanted to leave. So I left. I stopped the truck, got out, and started hitchhiking." Now a fugitive, he ended up in Oakland, California. He said that he found a suitcase and inside was the driver's license of a man named Robert Medina. Garcia adopted the name as his new identity, later changing the name from Robert to Roberto. He hitchhiked to Tampa, Florida, hoping to meet up with a cousin. Once there, Medina found work as a janitor in a motel and did construction work on the side. He also began boxing at the St. Pete Boxing Club under the guidance of trainer Jim McLaughlin. Medina sparred with world champions like Rocky Lockridge and Johnny Bumpus. What he lacked in talent, McLaughlin said, he made up in heart. Medina admitted that he had an attitude problem and a very short temper, but boxing taught him self-discipline. He found a girlfriend in Kathy Graham, moving in with her and her mother. After winning the Sunshine State Games, Medina made his professional boxing debut in March of 1984 under the management of Mike Bloomberg. The manager wasted no time in setting up the fighter with bouts on the Tampa circuit, as he fought twice a month, several times in his first year. Medina earned a 12-1-1 record before stepping in the ring with Olympic gold medalist Meldrick Taylor in July of 1985. But Denver detective Dennis Krabari received an anonymous tip that Medina was fighting in Norfolk, Virginia. Medina had changed his appearance, growing out facial hair and adopting a different hairstyle from his days in Denver. But he could be identified by his distinctive tattoos, a rose on his forearm and a couple having sex on his shoulder. Detectives had to wait until the boxer took off his robe. The tattoos now visible, they knew they had their man, but waited until the fight was over.
For several years, in fact, he has since he was literally a child. To have the skills he does at 18 has been extremely impressive to everybody who's watched him. A good right hand from Medina, who backs him up. Taylor, just for a moment, started to blink, looked a little stunned. puncher, Medina can't hurt you. And he switches. He goes southpaw back to orthodox, and now he's right-handed again. Good right hand. Out of the body, Medina comes right back with a combination of his own. Simultaneous exchange right there. Combination by Taylor, but Medina is able to counter back. Taylor opening up now. Medina covering up along the ropes. Medina in a full defensive posture. Taylor slugging away, and now Medina perhaps playing a bit of the possum. Starts to come back and takes the fight to the center of the ring. And we'll stay here between 12-1, 9 knockouts. Round 2, scheduled for 6 rounds. Live action from Norfolk, Virginia. Joined us late. Mark Breland, first round KO. Pernell Whitaker, second round KO. Both ending their fights very early. Good exchange in the middle of the ring between these two lightweights. Taylor trying to put his punches together. Good right hand. Infighting in the middle of the ring between these two lightweights, and a good uppercutting right hand landed by Taylor. Taylor trying to get Medina to drop his gloves. Working up top. Medina still has his hands down. And that head of Medina is an inviting target for Taylor, who's bounced about 6 blows off the face and head of Medina, and 2 more. Goes to the body as Medina finally gets his gloves up, but Medina in some trouble along the ring post. Medina fights his way off the ropes, but Taylor puts him right back there. 20 seconds to go in the second round. Taylor opening up in the latter stages of round 2. Good round for Meldrick. Landing a lot of headshots in the second round. This one's scheduled for 6 at Scope in Norfolk, Virginia. We'll be back. Trying to make his mark. 7-0 as a pro. Taylor has slowed down, partially at the suggestion of George Benton in the corner between rounds. Benton was telling Taylor between rounds that Medina has too good a chin, you're throwing too many punches. Now Taylor again working on the head of Medina, raining blows off the face and head as he did in the second round. But Medina does have a good chin, there's no question about that. But you reach a point when you just can't take too much anymore. Medina may be getting there rather rapidly. Another good left hand to the head. Good combinations being delivered by Meldrick Taylor. Great hand speed, great quickness, active fists, looking sharp. I'd like to tell our local stations, at the end of this round, we will be taking a station break. Again, Taylor just landing blow after blow, and Medina accepting it, barely flinching. But he's really taken some punishment here. 7 at the moment. After this fight, we'll be taking a look at Evander Holyfield, who fought earlier today, the Olympic bronze medalist, but maybe the most notorious of the Olympians following the LA Games because of that controversial decision he was involved in through the Yugoslavian referee. Corner as we go to round 5. Meldrick Taylor and Roberto Medina. Medina walking into a left hand. Well, Medina just takes everything. The guy barely flinches, so give him credit for the steel jaw. Offensively, though, he's not been able to do very much. Another good combination. Puffiness and swelling now under the left eye of Medina. Another good right and a left, and now Medina is in trouble. The attrition factor right here. Finally, we've reached the point where a standing 8 count is being issued by Rothenberg, the referee. And it's just gotten to the point where how much more can a guy take? Medina has been a veritable punching bag throughout this fight, and the toll has finally been taken. Major swelling now under Medina's left eye. Medina again getting rocked and staggered by Taylor. He's a pretty gutty kid, though. Look at him, trying to trade with him. Taylor just throwing punch after punch, not really setting himself. But you got to give Medina some credit. To stand there and absorb this, he's exhausted. So is Taylor. Professional. And again, raining blows on Medina. Referee Rothenberg looking very closely. And nobody could blame him for stopping it at any time. Medina just keeps hanging in, though. Seconds remaining now in this, the 5th round in the scheduled 6th round. Live action from Norfolk, Virginia. Greenland and Whitaker have won, and Taylor is on his way to a victory. Big day for the Olympics. While we're in commercial between rounds, in Medina's corner, they were trying to tell him to be more aggressive. He had a look of frustration on his face. He said, I was trying to let him tire himself out. Well, Taylor's tiring himself out by hammering Medina's head from start to finish. Medina trying to put something together here, and Taylor is covering up. This is the second time Taylor's gone 6 rounds. He won a 6-round decision back on the 20th of January over Dwight Pratchett. Decent exchanges here in the middle of the ring, but both men are tired and the punches are lacking zip. Meldrick Taylor, the Olympic gold medalist, in a fight that is on its way to going the distance after quick knockouts by Breland and Whitaker. No knockdowns in this fight, though a mandatory 8 was given to Medina, and Medina is staggered again and stunned. But he's been as game as they come, absorbing all the blows. Taylor warned for pushing. And for Meldrick at the age of 18, and that's the operative phrase right there, at the age of 18, it's a pretty good performance. Meldrick Taylor wrapping this one up. Goes the distance. Crowd appreciative of the performance by the Kid, his nickname. Here's the announcement of the decision.
Judge number 2, 60 to 54. Judge number 3, 60 to 53. A unanimous decision for Meldrick, the Kid, Taylor. Meldrick Taylor.
Medina was arrested immediately after the bout, being led away in handcuffs. His girlfriend, her mother, his trainer, and just about everyone who knew him in Tampa were shocked. It was hard to believe, Kathy said. Robert was always a gentleman, always soft-spoken.
Turned around and I realized that there was quite a few officers there. It didn't hit me then that I had been apprehended. I thought I was getting an escort to my dressing room, which was very nice, you know. But after I got to the dressing room, they said that we have to question you. I knew that they had known already. And I was hurt for everyone else more than myself, because I didn't want everyone to think that I was lying to them or being something that I wasn't, because everyone accepted me very, very nicely, and I loved it, you know. And I really felt bad that I was hurting a lot of people, and they gave me a lot of support.
Kathy later admitted that she had dated Robert for over 8 months before he told her that he was a fugitive. What she didn't know was that his real name was Juan Garcia, and that he had gotten married around 4 or 5 years earlier to a woman named Julie. I don't know about John Garcia, Kathy's mother said. John was a teenager in trouble. I've known Robert over a year, and he's a sensitive, kind, and compassionate man. Medina then told Kathy that his wife thought he was dead because he had not contacted her in more than 3 years. I accepted it, Kathy said. His past doesn't concern me. I told him I was going to get him out of jail. He told me, go on with your life. You're still young. But I couldn't forget him if I tried. Kathy led a campaign to get Medina released from prison. Over 150 letters were written to Colorado Governor Richard Lamb and District Judge Thomas Osola. Trainer Jim McLaughlin flew from Florida to Colorado to speak on Medina's behalf. The judge agreed to reduce Medina's sentence to 1 year, and he served only 55 days because of the time he had served on the 2-year sentence. Medina insisted that he was a changed man, and his friends supported him. You can't dislike Roberto, manager Bloomberg said. I had him over to my house dozens of times. He played with my grandchildren. The kid was like family, like a son. Upon his release, Medina found work as a construction worker for $6 an hour. I don't think I was ever really a criminal, Medina said. I'm not making excuses, but I was forced into it by circumstances.
It's hard for a person like my situation because I was forced to grow up at a very young age, and I'm not speaking growing up. I mean, they made me I had to live on the streets at a very young age, and that made me do a lot of things that you don't want to do, but you have to do just to survive. And I was incarcerated at a very young age, 17, and it made me grow up real fast and learn a lot. And I did learn. And like I said, I feel very, very good about myself because I came from the bottom to where I'm at now, and I feel that I'm on the top.
Medina returned to the ring in November of 1986, winning his comeback by decision. In January of 1987, he was given a televised date against ESPN favorite Terrence Ali. Medina lost the bout by unanimous decision. In early February, Medina was a suspect in the murder of 2 elderly widows within days of each other. The women were smothered with pillows in their own homes, and their wedding rings were stolen. He wasn't charged before journeying to Puerto Rico and getting stopped by Angel Hernandez in 8 rounds. Returning to Tampa, Medina once again violated his parole, getting arrested for drunk driving. This go-around, no letter-writing campaign would save him, as he served 4 more years from 1987 to 1991. Upon his release, the now 35-year-old Medina once again returned to the ring, stopping Doug Shambaugh before getting a televised date against Frankie Mitchell.
And he faces a guy who also has that sense of freedom, Roberto Medina. He fought in February of '87, was then incarcerated for 4 years, and in November came back on 12 hours notice. He knew he wanted to get his fight game back in action. And he knocked out an undefeated prospect, Doug Shambaugh, in 5 rounds. Medina will come right at you. And Mitchell knows that. And Mitchell, Sean, says he wants to stay on the outside. He won't mix it up with Medina. When he was a fugitive and he realized one way for him, the best way to earn money was to fight. But you know it was inevitable. He's appearing on network television. Inevitable that he would be caught, because the more successful, the further he went in boxing, the more exposure and the more chance that he would be seen, which eventually happened.
Now, between rounds, they were telling Frankie Mitchell, go around the left hand of Medina and watch what he's doing. He's pawing with his own left, and then he's trying to pick that shot around the outside of that left hand of Medina.
And now it is Medina trying to put some more pressure on Frankie Mitchell, and he tags him up against the ropes, and quickly maneuvering away to the center of the ring is Mitchell, and he comes back. Remember in the Payton fight, it was Payton who pressured Mitchell and made him a slugger on that particular night.
And that is what Medina needs to do. He cannot allow for Mitchell to stand outside like he's doing here. One problem that many fighters have difficulty with is the lateral movement, those side-to-side movements like Frankie Mitchell is giving Medina here.
Brian Payton, where Mitchell dug as deep as one could dig considering his circumstances, what he has been through, and he is 32 years old. The question of will it catch up to him quickly? And as far as Medina is concerned, at 34, he is past his prime. Did he leave his best fight years in prison?
And that is perfect for Mitchell. With a fighter like Mitchell, who's been through a tough war with Brian Payton, you want to get him some work, you want to get him some rounds, but you don't want to put him in there with a real dangerous opponent, thinking he's ahead in this fight.
In your mind, he's not.
In my mind, but we've seen how my mind thinks on these scorecards before.
Which may mean Medina is ahead in this fight.
He may be winning every round. Oh, there's that effective uppercut. Oh, nice punch by Mitchell.
That has been his best punch of the night. The uppercut, he's gone to it a couple of times.
And this is what activity will do for a fighter. Look how composed Frankie Mitchell is in that ring. Look how he's controlling with that jab, and he's commanding.
Want him to take Medina out of there. Don't let him get off the hook. They see what Medina is trying to accomplish, and they feel that Mitchell should be able to turn it up, and he is here in the 7th. Mitchell. The pity pat becomes rat-a-tat.
And the corner is looking for the left hook. Arthur said, finish everything with that left hook. Leaning up against those ropes, resting.
Roberto Medina with a rock-solid chin. He may have taken the best shots of Mitchell, takes one more.
I'll tell you, if you're Mitchell, you don't want to go back to the corner at the end of the round. Every round, Jimmy Arthur has laid into him. Get busy, throw more punches, stay in there more.
And now Medina is striking inside. Frank Cappuccino does a little work. Roberto Medina, now living in St. Petersburg, Florida. And he has Jimmy McLaughlin in his corner.
Don't do it again. Take points. Okay, we can't afford 8 points. listening to me, bud?
Yeah.
You have to work when he's on the corner. All right, now, to skill your fight, you got to start loading up with him now. Okay, you okay?
Yeah.
Feel good? You want that fucking title?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it, buddy, okay?
Yes.
Let's take that belt home, Roberto. Now you have to go to work, okay? Now he's tired, he's beat, go to work, okay? Go to work.
Here is some of that work from the last round by Mitchell. Early on in the round, he came out and established control for the whole round. Look at these combinations. Nice uppercuts on the inside, and then he goes wisely to the outside.
Round number 8. Mitchell has started the last few rounds quickly. And in the Medina corner, they feel this is the time for Medina to turn it up. A third round knockout over Ramon Solis. Mitchell again turns up the pressure, but getting nowhere.
Now, if you're Medina, you wait for right now. Now you pour it on. Hold on a second. Wait for him to stop. He'll stop punching here in a minute. That's when you got to really rally.
And Medina charging forward in the face of Mitchell. Mitchell, of course, scoring points.
Mitchell has gotten his second win. The last round, Frankie took a break, but this round, he is busier. Once you get your second win, you can go all night. The better shape you're in, earlier you get that second win.
But Mitchell may have lost it. Oh, nice counter by Mitchell with a... Oh, again he strikes with the right hand. And once again, Medina is unmoved. Roberto Medina not taking a backward step to the onslaught of Frankie Mitchell, but what Mitchell is accomplishing, one, scoring the points throughout this fight, and number two, now doing a job on the face of Medina, and now there's a cut around the right eye, which could end it all for Roberto tonight.
On the face on him. They like have a great big jar of Vaseline, great big, and they go in there, just put their face in that Vaseline between rounds.
Oh, Medina takes the left, and he is down for just the second time in his career.
This is the left that they have been screaming at Frankie Mitchell to throw between rounds. Begging with him to throw the left hook is Arthur.
And Mitchell coming on. Frank Cappuccino peers in.
Coming on like a champ.
Taking control here in the 9th round. Oh, Medina rocked again. Mitchell throwing it all. Halfway through round number 9.
Mitchell sensing that the end is near. The ring rust, the slowness from Medina all taking effect here in this 9th.
And there goes the mouthpiece. There's no mouthpiece rule. Medina slugging to the body, and Mitchell. Is he playing possum or did he run out of gasoline? And the crowd now going berserk at the Blue Horizon. They were booing this fight earlier. Mitchell at his best when he's pressed. But some lumbering punches now here in the 9th round.
And when his back is against the ropes, Mitchell fights off.
Medina has been down in this 9th round. Only the second time in 20 pro fights. Mitchell using the ropes, as you see there, to just take a brief rest inside 20 seconds of the 9th.
Oh, those gloves get so heavy when you're tired. The arms worn.
We have a big finish for the 9th. Both going upstairs. Both striking in the closing seconds of round 9.
And then land punches back to steal the play away from Medina.
10th round action. It's scheduled for 12. And again, Mitchell comes out strong. It was the 10th round, he said, in the Payton fight 2 months ago. And he really hit the wall. And we continue to have problems with the tape on the glove. You see Frank Cappuccino, the veteran referee, and the look on his face is saying, hey, you guys, I'm going to just take those gloves off, fight with your fists.
He's really disgusted. They have a band in the amateurs that they put around those gloves, around the tape, to keep this from happening. I think the sweat band, they should adopt that into the pros. That way the tape will not get wet and not get loose and come loose like this.
Bring on those Velcro gloves.
Velcro tape.
Yes.
Hey, Ben, we can take that a step further. Velcro cuts. Medina would enjoy that.
You may even come back.
Oh!
He's down for the second time tonight. And the cut is open.
This time that was the overhand right.
Cappuccino lets it go. Mitchell trying to pour it on. Wants to stop it here. Medina is down. Medina is out. Frankie Mitchell did not run out of gas in the 10th round tonight.
Medina wasn't discouraged by the loss. "I can still win a world title," Medina said. "I'll always be there." Now married with a newborn son, Medina fought again 3 months later, facing lightweight contender Darrell Tyson. Medina suffered a broken jaw and wasn't allowed to continue after the third round. The now 36-year-old Medina never returned to the ring, instead returning to a life of burglary and theft. He was incarcerated once again in 1994, but released early in 1996. Medina then graduated from petty theft to bank robberies, robbing over 5 banks in Pinellas County, once again becoming a fugitive on the run. "They'll have a hell of a time finding him," trainer McLaughlin said. "He's real good at hiding. What he is a very good con man." Authorities caught up to Medina. While in prison in 2008, Medina was charged with the 1987 rape of a 51-year-old woman in St. Petersburg, as a new DNA search resulted in a fingerprint match. Medina had made a hole inside a jalousie window and moved a can of insect repellent before reaching in to unlock the rear door of the utility room. In 2008, his right thumbprint was identified on the can of the insect repellent. Medina was charged for the crime, but allowed to have it served concurrently while he was in federal prison under a witness protection program for his testimony in a money laundering scheme. Roberto Medina was released in 2015. "Sometimes I can't believe how stupid I was," trainer Jim McLaughlin said. "He had a tattoo that said, John. I asked him about it once. He just smiled and shook his head. Robert had a way of letting you know he didn't want to talk about something."